Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching. Well, I just watched Love, Simon. It's a really great movie and I think I watched it at the perfect time. Happy Pride to everyone. And I was immediately captivated when I started watching this story because it's a story of, finding yourself and coming to terms with what you are. And I think that for some that's been a journey that it's still ongoing and still existing. For some it's something that they've had a grasp of at a very young age, and I think it's great if that was your journey. But there's some whom that journey still continues, and you try to find a world in which you belong and you realize that you are everything but part of that puzzle. So it's very emotional watching this movie. I cried several times, and the actors were great, the story is great, and I thought at a moment, I'm like, this is not how it happens. It's never this easy. Most people live tormented by the fact that there's something that doesn't go with what they've been told. I think ideally this story would be perfect. That's how the world should be. It shouldn't be a matter of coming out. Nobody has to come out as straight. I think everybody should just be allowed to develop their own sexuality and they decide what it is they want to be. It shouldn't be imposed, or it shouldn't be something that should be kept a secret. And it's still an enormous struggle for a lot of people to come to terms with it because there's not that support. There's a lot of mental health issues involved in not accepting yourself, and especially if you grew up in religious homes and how everything is against you, and it's a lot of torment. And I think it's good that there are films out there who are normalizing this, because this is something normal and it should be something that we shouldn't have to fight for acceptance. We should just be. There's so much hate in the world, and I think it just shouldn't be that way. We should love everything and everyone, and the reason why so many bad things happen is because we prohibit people to be who they want to be or who they were born to be. I've heard these words, well, you can't tell this person because they would be devastated. So then sometimes we go our lives protecting other people from certain truth, but what about your devastation? Who's worried about that? What about your struggle? Why do you have to conform so the people around you are comfortable with who you are? I think that's very wrong. I think we live in a world where everything is growing and we're moving several steps forward as in many different arenas, medical, technological, educational, and yet as human beings, we are taking step after step back. We shouldn't have to fight for human rights. You shouldn't have to feel bad for who you are. It's very sad that a lot of people do have a hard time coming out, and a lot of people get kicked out of their homes. The LGBT community has the highest rates of, homeless, suicides, and that is just completely sad that people are being bullied for who they are, that people are taking their lives because people are not okay with who they are. I don't know, this movie touched on a lot of subjects, and I wish that world of Simon existed where it was that easy for him to just be a part of a community, of his home, of a family, of friends. It's not that easy for a lot of people, and it might have been easy for a few, but there's more people who have a struggle, an ongoing struggle, and you shouldn't get to the age of 35 and still having issues with who you are. I don't know, it makes me really sad. It makes me really sad that people are uncomfortable with who they are because they were made to feel like that. You just don't wake up one day or as you're growing up and tell yourself this is wrong. It's by your environment, how you grew up, the people around you, and their conditioning, their norms, their values, what they think is right for you, when we should decide what's right for us. And I know it's a lot of people say, well, do you and always be true to yourself and you don't need approval, but in our reality, we always are looking for approval, and that's why a lot of the decisions we make are based on the need to belong, the need to be loved. I don't know, I just think that we should take time to just give love. You are not born a bad human being. Your choices are learning experiences. I just want, like Simon, to find somebody who you connect with, and that's, life is so hard already, and to have people tell you that what you're doing is wrong, it doesn't help. It doesn't help Telling somebody they're not going to be accepted by so and so, it doesn't help. Telling somebody that somebody else won't be able to deal with your decisions doesn't help. Telling somebody that what you're doing is a sin doesn't help. Telling somebody that they should be less this and more that doesn't help. But you know what does help? Are words of kindness, words of love, words of encouragement, and words of understanding. Put yourself away and your own preconceived notions away and let people develop on their own terms and just give love. I really recommend this movie, Love, Simon. I wish I would have grown up in that household with those parents, how loving and understanding they are. And when the father asks his son for forgiveness, because how many times you hear words that are of joke and deep inside they hurt you, but nobody ever apologizes for that. So I think, I know, the love will always make it better and hate will always make it worse. Love, Ramon.